Joe Rizzo here with the Coach Jeremy Jacobus after the Rockets fall 3-0 on the long drive to and from York, Pennsylvania against the York Devils. The story of this one, though, you earned a lot of power plays, and then once one went against you, it was sort of a dubious call, a 5-minute major, and then at the end of the game, it unravels a bit with really a lot of cheap stuff that was going on. And if you go back and watch the video, it's not going to be very friendly to the York team as to really what was going on there. Your team held its composure. They weren't taking penalties back. You can't dent the net on the scoreboard, but how do you assess a game like this? A lot of emotion, a lot of fan emotion, player emotion, coach emotion was out there.
I'm still riding high on the emotions right now. But I will say this. My team had a lot of good looks today. I felt like some of our looks were just inches away from succession. So we get a puck in the net when it's 2-1. That's a completely different game, right? As far as the officiating, I never use it as an excuse, right? We always stand up for what we are and what we did and what we didn't do. But the officiating here was horrible today. They let this get out of control.
Now let's just make a point of this, that your team had the majority of you had the first 5 power plays of the game. Now that doesn't necessarily mean, even in that case, that you can't be critical of the officiating because of something else that happened. I just want that to be clear to anybody who's watching this, that it doesn't always mean about the officiating in terms of the way the game goes, just the penalties that they call. A lot of times it's the penalties that they don't call.
True, and that was reminiscent here today. I think it all started, when it went bad for me was the punch penalty. The referee clearly signaled punch to the head and put that girl in there for 2 minutes. That's not the right call. Okay, so that's what started the avalanche of what came after that. Because we felt like we needed to respond, then they felt like they needed to respond, and the referees let it go on. Now, I'm all for a physical game and playing stingy and playing, to frustrate the other team, but that just got out of control, and that's all on the referees right there. It's not anybody else. We're all hockey players. Even the coaches here are hockey players at heart, and we're all going to play the game the way it should be played. So I think the ref should have took some different control right there. But again, my team had some power play opportunities today that we did not capitalize on, and I always say that special teams are super important. But like I said, we get one of those goals at the right time, maybe that 5-minute major doesn't even happen, right? So now we'll see what happens. But I'm going to tell you what, this may be the last time I ever come to this rink. That was a terrible display of sportsmanship by the other team after the game.
And it was strange because it was mainly, it was a hard game. There was a little bit here and there behind the play, but boy, right, especially at the end, you have a player taking liberties with her stick. That's when it gets to be real out of control. You have a player, and you could see it on the video. It's very clear. You can even see the player's eyes. It's that close. You have a player taking liberties on another player with her stick, and just goading the player, thinking like, okay, are you going to respond or no? And then, at some point, the player has a right to defend themselves, right?
It's obviously a targeted situation. She was targeted because of the 5-minute major penalty earlier in the game. If you're targeting people and you're doing that kind of stuff, that's not playing hockey, right? We came here to play hockey. Again, if it turns into a chippy game, I'm all for a chippy game. We know how to play that game. But that just got out of control. It was very unnecessary.
And it looked like a good decision, although we liked the handshake at the end of the game. It looked like a good decision. It looked like Coach Paul stepped out there and said, hey, let's just send them to the locker room.
Yeah, with those high emotions like that right at the last seconds of the game, if you put those two teams in a hallway together, you know there's going to be a problem.
Okay. A longer drive for most of us. I don't know about you, but get home safe.
I'm going to get to the hotel safe, which is not too far. I'm staying down tonight because that was like a 3.5-hour ride down for that right there. So I'm going to stay down here, relax tonight, and drive home in the morning.
Okay. Well,
but you get home safely.
We will try to do that. And if you like what you see, hit that subscribe button and the alerts button. And then every time we do one of these, or we go live, or we upload higher quality of the content, or anything, you never know what you're going to get. Hit that subscribe and the alerts button, and you'll get a little quick message that says, hey, go check out what you're putting up on this YouTube site. For the Coach Jeremy Jacobus, this is Joe Rizzo. Thanks for watching New Jersey Rockets Girls Hockey.